Good morning. Do you believe in ghosts? I will say that it was definitely unexpected what I witnessed yesterday morning, heard yesterday morning, and I still cannot explain it. And it's a little creepy because you never know the intention of man, let alone spirits, should that be the case. I mean, all we really know about the afterlife is what we read in religious manuscripts, if that's to be believed, or those who say they have died and witnessed the afterlife and returned. So you just never know. So welcome to the cardio vlogs. If you're new to our gathering here, cardio vlogs. Hang on. Turn on a button I didn't need to. There it is. Cardio vlogs. It is self-explanatory as you're watching me, but every day we have a trivia question attached to an Amazon gift card giveaway. Here are the rules. 3 primary rules, and there's sub-rules you can read about in the description. Uno, you must be a subscriber to the channel to participate in the trivia challenge. Dos, you must like the video that you are watching now. And tres, you must answer the trivia question in the comments below. One comment as the answer to that. Now, you can add a fun fact for an additional entry, as long as it's related to the topic we are talking about. However, it has to be related to the topic we're talking about. So, here is today's trivia question. Who was the original choice to play the role of Marty McFly in the Back to the Future film? And who originally played him? Who was the original choice to play Marty McFly in the Back to the Future film, and who originally played him? Alright, so we're in the lower 50s, I think 54, 53 days now till election. You should be very aware of what we're watching now. I know that everybody says this is history. This could very likely be a significant part of our history. If you watched the GOP debates during the early part of the year, one of the guys who was up there who I especially liked was a neurosurgeon named Ben Carson. And Ben Carson, I think, made one of the most profound statements that I'm sure have been made before, but that he understands more than I think a lot of people do. He said, if I wanted to get into a place as a leader where I would declare martial law, I would turn everybody against each other. And that's what you see now. I think it's very true. I don't think it's conspiratorial. I think it's clear that it's happening. Right now, we see a lot of things happening with Hillary Clinton's health. They can't make up their mind what she has. If she has the flu or pneumonia, they're two very distinctive things. And she was supposed to be back on the campaign trail because she was feeling great as of Sunday right after it happened, but she's not. I would be very surprised if today she returns to the campaign trail. And I think it's because her condition is deteriorating, unfortunately. When you're facing your own mortality, you would think that you would be willing to face things you have not before. But I think this is where people believe that someone knows they're lying and someone who doesn't know they're lying. Pathological liars, as they're called. As true as the statement might be, they really don't recognize that they're lying. In their head, after a while, judgment always guides them to believing that they are being honest. And they honestly, if you could use that term, they truly do not understand the dynamic of what they're doing. It doesn't mean that they're less culpable, because lying is lying, but it does mean that you must understand that when it seems like they are so calm and cool about it, it's because they really believe they're telling the truth. So they're not shifting in uncertainty. The only time they shift in uncertainty is when they're cornered with the truth and reality. And that's when they begin to shake. Because Hillary Clinton, I believe, is a pathological liar. Why do I believe that? Because even after the FBI did their investigation and the head of the FBI said that she showed a responsibility, that they misled people because there were classified emails that she did not turn over, and all of that stuff. She still said, I think they proved that I did my job and that I made a mistake and that I take national security very seriously. Matter of fact, she tried to implicate very loosely Colin Powell, who is a former Secretary of State, by saying that he suggested she use a private server when Colin Powell never said that. He suggested she use a private email for all communications with the exception of classified information. So, it's something to keep in mind. First part of the answer is Michael J. Fox. But she just has a really difficult time grasping the difference between what her brain leads her to think in order to be right and what is actually factually true. But I believe we will see Hillary most likely miss the debate. I believe it more and more. And right now, I believe more she will than I won't. And by the way, I have no problem being wrong. I would rather be wrong than some of the things that I could see occurring in the next coming months. Because I think there's going to be a lot of nightmarish stuff for all of us as people. I live by a philosophy that united we stand, divided we fall. And history shows that to be true. That's where the quote comes from. And I don't believe we really learned from history. That's the sad reality of it. I was talking with my family tonight. I'm pretty close to my family. my brother and my mother. And we had a spirited debate. But one of the things we agreed on, which we found really interesting, based on the trivia answer from yesterday, was that presidents have a 2-term limit, whereas federal judges and members of Congress can serve indefinitely. And why that's dangerous for us as a society is, as members of the court system stay in those positions, there's more things that become advantageous for them to follow a certain ideology in order to make under-the-table money. And as a result of them never being voted out, they really pretty much have the ability to lead our country in a certain direction with verdicts by setting precedents. The other thing is that members of Congress, if they do not have term limits, then they make decisions in the House and in the Senate as a result of things that will benefit them in the long term. There are very few that are considered to be very upholding to the original Constitution and its intent and fundamental basics that the country was founded on. One of them is Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, however, is so rigid in his beliefs of the fundamentals of the Constitution that he does not consider the evolution of a society. It does not mean you have to lose fundamentals. It means you have to start looking at things a little bit different as far as the representation of the population. So, gay people, for example, homosexuality, whatever you choose to refer to it as, GLBT, whatever you choose to reference it as. So he's in gay marriage specifically because of the rights of partners to be beneficiaries on insurance in the event of their partner's death. So he doesn't represent that part of society. Now, on the other hand, I disagree completely with the bathroom law. I think that's just more minor chaos used to divide us, because if you really wanted to find a way to go into the ladies' bathroom or to not have to use the men's room, if you're a physical man but psychologically you think you're a woman, then you would be happy with a family bathroom. But that's not the case. That's why it's really not about the reality of that circumstance. It's really more of a chaos amidst a bunch of other things that create civil unrest. Bad cops are bad cops. I don't think anyone can deny that. I think if you do, then you're forgetting they're people and just as corruptible as anyone else. But not all cops are bad. But the federal government should not be in charge of local law enforcement, and that's what's happening. And that is the beginnings of martial law, when government rules everything. They are supposed to be in oversight by which we all work, but they're supposed to be the foundation of what our Constitution represents and leading people within the United States, the states, to continue to follow that. They should not be overseeing local law enforcement, let alone elections like Obama wants. So it's really, we live in very questionable times. And I think the next couple of months will be very scary. Remember that knowledge is power. The other thing that Obama's doing at the beginning of next month is turning over the United States control of website names and the such, determination of website names and such, to a globalist organization. Technology giants love this because it gives them the ultimate control of how the internet is handled. But it becomes, the more you hand over to globalists who have their own ideology and who many, as you already know, do not care for the United States, the more freedom of speech becomes limited, because they will determine what can and cannot be pushed out there, or what can and can't be suppressed, or what will and will not be suppressed. And freedom of speech is our number one amendment for a reason, because it's our way of expressing discontent with the abuse of power. That's really what it's about, is the abuse of power and being able to say it. Remember, there are countries, the country from which we came, where if you spoke out against the government, you could be executed. And if freedom of speech is more and more limited, which it is being, there are now zones in universities called safe zones where freedom of speech is not allowed because it can hurt people's feelings. There are now in some universities designated freedom of speech zones. What people fail to recall or address is universities, unless they are specifically owned and financed by, well, really even not even private, but they are primarily owned and operated by internal fundraising. They're public, and public means that they are open to the laws of the land. Freedom of speech being one of those laws. But we're losing a grasp on it. It's just a very scary time for us. You don't have to like what anyone else says to defend their right to say it. I absolutely feel that way. There are a number of people who I can't care for the way they speak because I think they divide us. And I think they have double standards where they can say one thing, but we can't return it back to them without being categorized as bigoted or prejudiced in some manner. For crying out loud, they're calling people now, it's been said on some broadcasts, that those who are judging Hillary Clinton for taking a few days off because she's sick are sexist. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. How does her gender have absolutely anything to do with her illness? And one lady said, well, she said, can a girl just have a couple days off without being judged? Well, when you're in the final stretch of a run for the presidency of the United States, and your health is failing you, and it's been established that this has been doing so for a while with her. Back to 2008, 2012 was a significant time. There's very critical information that you are trying to pass over. Have you ever heard of subliminal messaging? It's like pictures, sometimes it's just words. Just like once you're hypnotized, if you've ever been hypnotized, post-hypnotic suggestions. Now we hear about all the dumb stuff, like where they say, you know, orange, and someone goes, but that's sort of the humorous side of it. But you can hypnotize people and just say something as simple as, every time you hear crazy, you sneeze. Because the mind controls the body. All it has to do is send the signals down and create it. The mind is the basis for everything. So, one of the things they've been saying about Hillary Clinton the last couple of days, since her event on Sunday, her experience on Sunday, is that she is powering through. She just tried to power through. She was just powering through. That is trying to create, in the mindset of those people listening, that she's strong and she keeps pushing no matter what. But the reality is she doesn't, because she took a break. She ceased her campaign and sent everybody else out to speak for her. Donald Trump continues on the route, and he's older than her. So now there's a Washington Post posted a article suggesting that Donald Trump, along with Putin, are conspiring to poison Hillary Clinton. Simply because Putin doesn't care for Hillary Clinton. And he complimented Donald Trump for whatever reason. That doesn't mean Donald Trump is conspiring with Putin. He has no reason to conspire with Putin. He's already said things about Putin, saying, oh, he's a strong leader. I also said Ted tried to make it out to where Donald Trump was saying Putin was a role model. He never said that. He said he was a strong leader. He never said he was a role model. There's a big difference. And these messages keep getting planted to where if you hear it enough, you'll believe it. I'll tell you what, try this if you were up for it. It takes a pattern on your part. I want you to think to yourself every day, 3 or 4 times a day, chicken is heaven. Just say it to yourself every day, 3 or 4 times a day for a month. Chicken is heaven. Chicken is heaven. Chicken is heaven. Chicken is heaven. I would wager and bet you money in a month that when someone says, hey, Ronald, want to have some chicken? Like, oh my God, man, chicken is heaven. If you do that, I'm not suggesting you do that, by the way, Ronald. I'm just saying as a point to anyone. Abraham, Venisor, Liam, Jake, Jack, A, who I don't know what that first name is, but I got an A. I think it's Shania. Or Shania. I don't want to mispronounce your name, by the way. I'm taking a stab at it. You can correct me. I don't know how to pronounce my own name correctly sometimes, so don't worry about it. You can call me Farthead. So, but subliminal messaging is, it happens in movies. Go watch a movie. They pop up on the screen. How about a hot dog? You see that enough and you know what you're thinking when you go to the movies? I think I want a hot dog. So anyway, thanks for being here. Those of you who are watching, I actually was going to bail on today because I had a couple other things going on, but I thought, you know what? I really want to get out there and just talk, and some people will listen, some people won't. The other half of the answer is Eric Stoltz. So the interesting thing about that is that the one who was originally chosen was not able to do it because of their ongoing commitment with a TV show. And so they cast Eric instead, and they shot with Eric for 6 weeks before determining he was not the right person for the job. So I'll answer that question and leave it as one comment below, the name of the 2 individuals that you heard throughout the video, and I hope you have a really wonderful day. Like I said, don't focus on negative stuff. Just remember, knowledge is power. Look into things. Evidence is all around us. Facts are all around us. But you have to look through and dig through all of the opinions out there. And mine is just like an opinion as well. So you should still go fact check. It's just an opinion. And I like to think that I've done enough research to understand it and I'm using good logic. But maybe you'll find something that will open my eyes to something. I'm definitely open. Yeah, I'm not going to make that joke. I can make that joke. That's what she said. Anyway, that's my Michael Scott. That's what she said. By the way, have you seen Big Short? You should go see The Big Short with Steve Carell. He's really, really great. And The Big Short. And it's actually based on real happenings during the housing crisis, 2008. All right. Take care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow. Be well.